Some rise above their personal tragedies and become an inspiration to all, while some others unite in their mission to serve the downtrodden. This week, we showcase 3 such inspirational tales of amazing Indians. These noble doctors gave up their promising careers in some of the most prestigious medical institutions to serve the deprived tribal communities in Chhattisgarh. Watch the story of Jan Swasthya Sahyog, a group initiative that is building an effective health program for rural India. Her life took a turn for the worst when a spinal tumor made it impossible for her to walk. But she transformed her disability into ability and went on to become a successful sportswoman. Watch the paraplegic Deepa Malik conquer the sports world from her wheelchair. When shocking cases of crime against women are making the headlines every day, there is one woman who is crusading to make the streets safer. Meet our urban crusader Jasmine Patheja, who is striving hard to make women from across the country speak out against street harassment. Chhattisgarh, a state home to many tribal communities, haunted by poverty and communicable diseases. Villagers in far-flung rural tribal areas had little access to healthcare services.
हमार गांव वाले मन पहली जैसे कि टीबी की बीमारी हो तो टीबी की बीमारी ला पक्का मन में ठान ले रही नहीं कि टीबी की बीमारी होते तो एकर कोई इलाज नहीं है।
कोई भी बीमारी हो जाता था तो ले जाने में अड़चन होती थी।
कोई खास बीमार है या जचकी पीरियड वाला है, उसको बैलगाड़ी या भैंस गाड़ी से ले जाया जाता था। हो सकता है रास्ते में जाते जाते कुछ लोग जचकी भी हो जाते थे, कुछ लोग का और कुछ डेथ भी हो जाता था।
But their faith in humanity was restored when a group of young doctors from reputed medical institutes left their lucrative jobs to serve those who needed them the most.
There were 4 of us who were physicians in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, where we studied initially, and also the spouses. One of them was also still at AIIMS, and the others came from other medical colleges. So 10 of us started it.
I think JSS as a whole, the main aim of our organization was that we should be able to reach the poorest of the poor.
Doctors are always in surplus in big cities, but it's in the rural areas, the tribal areas, that there is really a need for medical professionals. So we decided to work where we would be needed.
The Ganyari doctors, as they are famously known, set up a voluntary, non-profit registered society, Jan Swasthya Sahyog, in 1996. They set out to provide a low-cost and effective health program, giving preventive and curative services in the tribal and rural areas of Bilaspur district.
A desire just to not only be in rural, not just to see patients from rural India, and but also to be in rural India and to see people from that place. And probably, for the want of a better word, call it repaying the social debt, as one would say. But broadly, because of this yawning inequality that we see reflected in at least health and illnesses.
Major communicable diseases plague those residing in the remote village of Ganiari in Chhattisgarh.
We saw several patients with tuberculosis in Delhi, but we didn't see so many deaths due to tuberculosis that we see here. The specific illnesses of deprivation which you see in rural India due to poor access, whether it's animal bites, whether it's obstetric problems becoming complex, whether it's rheumatic heart disease, the heart disease of the poor, and the cancers that one would hear otherwise only happening in urban India, are occurring in as many numbers as would have occurred in other areas.
Often they come in advanced stages. The disease has already progressed to an advanced stage where treatment becomes even more difficult. And sometimes procedures are needed which may not be available here.
The premises of Jan Swasthya Sahyog are always abuzz with activity. Villagers flock from more than 1,000 nearby villages. With a registration fee of merely 10 rupees, patients are never denied medical assistance for the lack of financial resources.
I think in some way the people who come here, we've been able to probably reduce the indebtedness due to healthcare expenses that they would suffer from an absentee public health system and a rapacious private health system. Frankly, people would choose to die at home for the want of an affordable health system.
50-year-old Santoshi has never been to school, but she is one of the 100 women who have been trained to provide basic medical services to fellow villagers.
जन स्वास्थ्य सहयोग में हमन ला ए ट्रेनिंग मिले है, जैसे कि यहाँ ला 2 दिन बर सीखे बर जाथन गनियारी महीना में, वहाँ ले आके गांव में इलाज करथन। और जैसे कि सर्दी खांसी वाले है, मलेरिया बुखार वाले है, उल्टी दस्त वाले है, लइका मन ला डब्बा है, और सियान मन के जेन फॉलो अप करथन, जेन बीपी के परेशानी होते वो वाले, और गर्भवती महिला मन के जांच करथन।
Necessity to have village health workers came about because actually there's no healthcare service, designated healthcare provider in a village level, and the concept of a doctor or a nurse being there in each village is still not part of any planning in the country. Skills that would usually be done by a nurse or sometimes even by a physician is something that we train our health workers in.
The journey for the Power Pack team has been full of hardships, but they are united in their goal. For them, the dream is to serve the poor. The inspiration is to bring about equality, and the aim is for doctors around the country to replicate their model. Chest down paralysis, 3 spinal tumor surgeries, 183 stitches between shoulder blades and a wheelchair for a lifetime. Enough reasons to dishearten anyone. But even they failed to emotionally cripple 42-year-old Deepa Malik, who battled the odds to become a successful paraplegic sportswoman.
All hell broke loose the day I learned I'm going to be paralyzed and not walking any longer. It was a huge emotional setback for everyone. But what changed my life was that you can stop being a person, you can stop being a wife, you can stop being a daughter, but you can't stop being a mother. I'm so blessed that I'd already had both my daughters prior to getting this illness in my life. So the motherhood kept me encouraged because I had to take care of my little daughters. At the same time, it was a payback thing because the whole family was loving me so much. My friends were there 24/7. Least I could do was to be happy, to live, and be alive for them. That is what inspired me a lot.
The transformation was challenging for Deepa, but it brought a new focus in her life.
The major challenges have been firstly definitely against my own body, because I have chest bureau paralysis, and there are so many other complications in the body. I'm minus a gallbladder, digestion is weak, over and above that I have thyroid. Only my shoulders are functional, but between the shoulder blades there have been 3 major surgeries, and half my lungs inflate. Long sitting is a challenge in itself. Controlling weight, body temperature is not, the control is not there, and the biggest challenge is the bladder and the bowel control. And to add to it is the infrastructure challenges that we face, because till now my country is not so wheelchair amicable.
Helping Deepa in her quest to bring life back to normalcy were her family and close friends who stood like a rock by her side. Her husband, an army officer, was fighting the Kargil war as Deepa was battling the tumours at home. Both emerged as winners.
A lot of credit goes to the family, because they kept me in good cheer, and everyone made me feel very wanted in spite of being on a chair. Nobody really made me feel cursed or as if I was a burden. That was definitely the biggest support, and I have to give a lot of credits to my friends all around me. At various stages, if I'm in a biking event, the bikers; if I'm in a rally event, the rallists; if I'm in the sports field, all my sports persons. I mean, everybody's carried me along with a great amount of acceptance.
Be it sports, be it motorsports, be it adventure sports, she's got herself ahead in every field, and it's quite a unique achievement, to the extent that she's ranked #1 in Asia and #2 in the world when it comes to sports.
The mother of 2 took to sports after becoming a paraplegic at the age of 36, and there was no stopping her. She notched an impressive medal tally: 39 gold, 4 silver, 2 bronze medals at the national and state level in sports like motor driving, biking, swimming and shot put. For this chair-bound achiever with 3 Limca records to her credit, there is no finish line to her wish list.
I'm very proud that despite being chest below paralyzed and totally wheelchair dependent, I have been able to really enjoy my life in outdoors and adventures. And well, it's just that I have to judge my medical condition. Otherwise, given a chance, I would have done everything. But I have swum across rivers. I have driven SUVs on highest motorable roads. I have ridden a bike to make a record. I have played sports at international level and won an Arjuna award. I have even gone to Rishikesh to do flying fox with my daughters. So, and snorkeling, and there's so many other things on my wish list. The list is not over yet.
An entrepreneur, a mother, a sportswoman, Deepa Malik has battled the world from her wheelchair. And now she urges other women to chase their dreams.
Please don't go by the stereotype. They say widows wear white and paraplegics are room bound or wheelchair bound. I always feel wheelchair liberated. My whole life began after coming onto the wheelchair. Everything that I dreamt of doing and achieving, I have already done that.
A promising athlete who has undertaken formidable challenges, Deepa Malik is a true story of sheer grit and courage.
The lesson that I have learned is life is the only festival that you can celebrate every day.
A volunteers-led online initiative that is motivating women across India to unite in the fight against street harassment. Join us on the other side of the break as Jasmeen Pateja ignites a revolution with her project Blank Noise. Young, vibrant, bold, we are often a reflection of our cities. Every street, every corner that we travel has a story to tell for each one of us.
So I am part of a generation of women who are earning, who are traveling, who are independent, who are moving cities, and who are asserting their presence in cities, who are creating a new relationship with cities.
It is also a generation of girls and women who have suffered. And while rape and sex offences are well recognized and defined by the Indian Penal Code and the Supreme Court, there was nothing that even hinted at eve-teasing or street harassment that women face every day being a crime, or even being wrong.
Eve-teasing, are you sure you want to talk about eve-teasing? It's not even an issue. It's just something that happens, it's normal. And it wasn't even given the status of being an issue 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. So yes, there are certain attitudes, that we feel are shifting, where street harassment, where eve-teasing is being called street harassment, is being recognized as street sexual violence, is being recognized as something that affects women's relationship with their bodies and the city.
And that is exactly the change that one woman wanted to bring about. Jasmeen started an online campaign, Blank Noise, to reclaim her streets, reclaim her city, and make a noise about what she thought was her right.
I had experienced street harassment, street sexual harassment, and the fact that it was being dismissed by people around me as just eve-teasing. Not having that kind of seriousness attached to the experience and not having a space to voice these experiences made me want to create some kind of a community, a collective that would examine this issue.
Started in 2003, Blank Noise is an online forum in which women are invited to share their experiences of street harassment by rejecting the notions of shame and blame.
Sexual harassment, sexual violence, rape is not your fault. It's not something you experienced because you deserved it. It didn't happen because of what you wore. It didn't happen because of where you went. It didn't happen because of what time of the day it was. It happens to a lot of women.
Blank Noise may have been started by Jasmeen, but it is completely volunteer-led, with volunteers or action heroes as they are called, based in almost every major city of India, and who seek to involve people in making their cities and their streets safer.
Blank Noise has always been about male and female volunteers, and the challenge has been about saying that, you know, you're not here just to support a woman's issue, because often guys come in saying, we feel strongly about this, we want to help women. You're not helping women. It's an issue that concerns men. It's an issue that concerns male behavior. It's an issue that concerns all of us as a society.
Lots of women don't negotiate public space. They stop using buses, they stop using trains. They don't go out at a certain time. They don't go out except if they're in a group.
Eve-teasing is such a casual term. Everybody does it. And everybody accepts it as just a way of life. Even the girls don't take eve-teasing that seriously. A lot of girls just ignore it. So that denial has to be changed.
हम सबको शपथ लेनी है, तभी हमारा शहर हमारा होगा। ये बहुत जरूरी है।
Blank Noise stages demonstrations and organizes campaigns encouraging people to speak out against the menace.
Working on campaigns that really address the notion of asking for it, where we've been asking women to send that one garment they wore when they experience harassment, when they experience any form of sexual violence. And each garment comes in as a story, comes in as a witness, comes in as a testimonial to say that I don't ask for it. There's no such thing as deserving violence.
Jasmeen's effort might be a drop in the ocean, yet every fight is an effort to better India. Every girl standing up and fighting for her right is one girl less scared. Next week on Amazing Indians, we bring you some incredible stories from Mahindra's Spark the Rise campaign. Running a one-of-its-kind courier service for deaf adults and providing them with meaningful employment is Dhruv Lakra's Miracle Couriers. A technology distributor, S-Mart Global, provides the rural retail shop owners an access to products to improve their customers' lives. Arundhati Gupta's venture, Mentor Together, offers mentorship to the underprivileged youth by linking them to professionals. And Kadam India is a step forward in creating service opportunities in the rural quarters of India to help curb migration.